Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Solutions Sunday. Every once in a while, a question grabs you and it won't let you go. So for me, it was this one. What if I stopped showing up predictable and started showing up remarkable? Yes, that's the question. So welcome to this morning's Solutions Sunday. I'm Greg Stanton, also known as Asar, and I want to thank each of you for creating space today to reflect not just on what you do, but how you show up. This particular seminar this morning was born somewhere between audiobooks, coffee, and highway signs as I was driving to Chicago this weekend. And in the rhythm of the road, I revisited a voice I hadn't heard in a while. And that's one of my favorite authors, the gentleman by the name of Seth Godin. Godin. I had recently picked up his book Purple Cow again. I read it some time ago, but I picked it up not too long ago, and it's a good read. But it was a YouTube clip that really caught me while I was driving. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't loud, but it was a clear message that came to me. God's message: in a world filled with sameness, it's no longer safe to be ordinary. You have to be a purple cow, not better, just boldly different. Something or someone worth noticing, remembering, and remarking on. That's what we have to do. Too many of us fit in, we get in where we fit in, we lose our authenticity, we lose our essence of our character. But this morning's teaching, I want to kind of step us back into our authentic selves. Now, if the name Seth Godin is new to you, no worries. This conversation isn't about marketing or branding on the corporate sense. It's about you this morning, your voice, your presence, your impact. And as I explore this, we're also going to look at what scriptures reveal about standing out, walking boldly, living with purpose. Because showing up remarkable isn't new. The Bible is full of people who did just that. So here's the bold question I want to explore with you today. What would happen if you showed up remarkable, not just reliable, not just competent, but unmistakably, undeniably you? So let's start by talking about what it costs when we don't. There's a cost of being unremarkable. Most of us were taught, explicitly or subtly, to blend in. We were praised for being easy to manage, not for being hard to ignore. But here's the quiet strategy. In a world full of noise, the ones who blend in often disappear, leave no mark. Whereas unremarkable work may be safe, it's also forgettable. Playing small doesn't protect you, it often just places you further out of reach. I remember a time early in my journey when I was building everything right. The systems were working, the messaging was tight, the structure was there, but I was still invisible. And recently I kind of felt that way. So I had to step back and see, why am I feeling invisible? And it came down to I wasn't being remarkable because I was hiding in the safety of being correct, not remarkable. I hadn't yet embraced the solutions wasn't just service, it was a stance. It's a declaration that wisdom, soul, and structure belong together. That shift from delivering content to delivering truth, that's when people really started leaning in. That's what makes me different. Is the remarkable content that I offer that keeps people coming back. I meet people every day that I haven't seen in years, and I'll ask them where they're attending, what house of faith, and they say, PG, since you left Chicago, I really haven't gone anywhere. And it comes down to because of the remarkable service that I had given them, then they couldn't find it anywhere else. And so we see this principle in scripture too. When we look at Matthew chapter 5, verse 14 and 16, we find that sage Jesus saying, "You are the light of the world. You're a city set on a hill, cannot be hidden." What we do, what we're being reminded of is that our lights, our visibility, is not something to shrink back from. It's something to steward. So take a moment now and ask yourself, where in your life are you playing small just to be accepted? What message are you withholding because it might make you stand out? Sometimes you just want to blend in. You don't want to be seen. But I have a saying when I go someplace, you know, don't just show up. Go to be seen. Go to be acknowledged. Don't just go to fit in. And the times in my life where I wanted to fit in because I wasn't really prepared, I wanted to be invisible. But when you really want to make a statement, you have to be prepared. So, what does it mean to be remarkable? Let's take a moment and explore that. So, I'm going to break it down. What does it really mean to be remarkable? Well, Seth Godin defines it simply: worth making a remark about. That's all it is. When you say that you're remarkable, you're saying you are worth making a remark about, that somebody will pass along your name for maybe what you service you offer or something that you do that others do, but you're remarkable. That's it. So I want you to commit that to memory. That is, to be remarkable is being worth someone making a remark about. Not being louder, not being slicker, just worth noticing, worth remembering, worth feeling. It's not about being the best in the room. It's about being the most yourself in the room. Think about it. A technically perfect jazz musician who never improvises, they blend in. But the one who breaks the rhythm to say something honest through sound, that's the one you remember. Let me offer you three quick examples. A teacher who tells the truth through storytelling, not just curriculum. That's remarkable. A businessman who prioritizes kindness over click rates. That's remarkable. A leader, such as yourself, who creates space instead of dominating it. Each one chose to do it differently. And in doing so, they became memorable. And biblically, think about David. Everyone expected a warrior to face Goliath. But David showed up with a sling and five smooth stones. What made him remarkable wasn't his strength, it was his faith, his authenticity, and his willingness to trust source's strategy over man's expectation. Think about that. We want to be remarkable. There are some barriers to being remarkable that many of us need to address. Of course, the moment you decide to stand out, the inner resistance begins. Fear, doubt, the old whisper. What if I'm too much? Here's what I've learned: the desire to blend in is primal, it's safety, but the call to lead is spiritual. In Jeremiah 1 and 5, God says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." That's not a mandate for mediocrity. That's a divine reminder that your uniqueness is intentional. So ask yourself this morning, gently ask yourself this: what are you afraid might happen if you were truly seen? And then ask yourself, what might finally become possible if you were? Now, Remarkability is not performance, it's alignment. I'm going to say that again. Being remarkable, the act of being remarkable. Remarkability is not performance, it's alignment. It's when you do what you do reflects who you are. When your presence, your tone, your choice, yeah, all point in the same direction. Here's a solution style formula that I often use. Remarkable equals resonance plus risk plus realness. Resonance means you hit a frequency people can feel, even if they don't fully understand it. Risk means you show up even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. And the realness means you're not dressing it up, you're letting it breathe. So, where in your life are you already remarkable and maybe didn't know it? Where in your life are you quietly breaking the mold just by being who you really are? Consider Esther. She didn't seek the spotlight. She was elevated, and when the moment came, she risked everything to show up. The scripture says, perhaps you were born for such a time as this. And I believe that applies to us as well. When we show up fully aligned with purpose and timing and truth, we show up in the nowness of being. So let's bring this down to earth. You don't need to burn everything down to start showing up differently. You just need to take one bold move. So here's your challenge this week. Choose one space, your work, your relationships, your expressions, and ask, what would make this unforgettable? What would make this more you, more truthful, more resonant? I call this your 90-day remarkable move. Not a rebrand, a realignment. I, in Romans 12 and 2, we're reminded, don't conform to the pattern of the world, but be transformed or become remarkable by renewing your mind. Conformity is safe. Conformity makes you disappear, but transformation is divine. So again, I'll ask, what one area of your life where you're steady, where you are really ready to stop blending in and start breaking through? Can you think of one? Maybe it's you just feel like you're part of the team, but you don't really make a difference. You just been going along to get along. What one area of your life where you're ready to stop blending in, where you're ready to to stop being part of the noise? It can be frustrating to know you're doing what you've been called to do, but you're not really making the difference on the scale that you desire to. And what I have found when talking to my clients is because their plan is safe. It's because they're wanting to comport with the norms, but they're not willing to take a bold move. David could have fit in by putting on the gear that all the other soldiers had on. He had the opportunity to take the king's helmet, to take the king's the javelin, to take the king's every shield, everything that he had, and he put them on actually, but they didn't fit. And you got to realize what you're attempting to do cannot be done in someone else's attire, cannot be done using the weapons that they have mastered. David mastered the sling. He mastered the five smooth stones. And so you have to know that you really can't lose with the stuff you use. Okay? So I ask you again, what area of your life where you're ready to stop blending? If you're in videography, you want to find out, what can I do that will be considered remarkable by just 5 people. You know what's going to happen then? Even if you're a seamstress, whatever your deliverable is, if you deliver it in a remarkable, value added way, here's what's going to happen. Remarkable means you're worthy of being remarked upon, to be marked as exceptional. So those 5 people will tell somebody. And so you're not coming by way of advertisement. You're not coming by way of some slick strategy, but you're coming by way of word of mouth. Remarkable. Oh, she can get it done, or he'll deliver it on time. So you want to be remarkable, all of us. So as we close this morning, I invite you to hold this question in your spirit all week long. What would happen if I showed up remarkable? You don't have to go viral. You don't have to go big or go home, as some say, but you do have to go true. The word, the world will always remember those who dare to be themselves out loud. And so, as I leave you with this reminder, ordinary is forgettable, but who you really are, that's remarkable. So, I want to thank you for joining in this morning. I want to challenge you this week to really be remarkable. I even want to encourage you, if you haven't read the book, The Purple Cow, it's an easy read. Get a hold of it or go to YouTube and type it in and listen to some of the things. But like I said earlier, Seth Godin message. It was basically this: the inner world that's filled with sameness. It's no longer safe to be ordinary. There's too many ordinary people. He says, and I encourage you to be the purple cow, not just to be better, not just to be bolder or different, but something worth remarking on. Now, that's important, to be remarkable, that somebody will mention your name. Okay? So that's what I want you to do. So let us just prepare to step into this week. So I affirm that this week you will be bolder, not bolder as in being louder, but you will step forward as you. And that whatever you deliver, you're delivering it not in an ordinary way, but in an exceptional way. That it will be remarkable, worthy of someone passing your name along. There you have it. So as you move into this week, I encourage each of you to stand and take a stance, to be all of you, to be all in. Don't fit in, but move to the front. You're moving to the front, not by force, not by a louder voice, but you're moving to the front by showing up as you, like David, with just a sling, 5 smooth stones, and the knowledge of what you have done, how you've perfected your craft, and then handle the situation. All right, that's all I have for you this morning. I look forward to seeing you guys in the upcoming week. Monday through Fridays, we have our morning meditation, and I welcome you to join us. If you want to know more about that, go ahead and visit the website, Solutions for Living, SOULUTIONS for living.com. Go out there, poke around, find out what's going on in the week to come. You'll find out why I'm remarkable. I guarantee you that there's something there for you. So peace. Have a wonderful day.